Hi, this is Sherry. Veronica. Enslaved Africans created what we know today as Carnival, and they were enslaved back in Africa. Way back in Africa, way back in time, they were enslaved, okay? And they always created some sort of opposition to their enslavement, opposition to the powers that be, where they jumped and they carried on, and they had music for their jumping, and they had music and drums for their carrying on. And here it is that Barbados is gearing up for a junior Kadooman. They have invited children to perform a ritual, a carnival setup, something that goes back to slavery. They have pulled your children into it, or you have allowed your children to go into it. But I think that whatever you do, you should try to learn the history of it, okay? Just try to learn the history of things, okay? And like I said, it is maybe at a subliminal level. It is like Barbadians know that they're still enslaved. You kind of know it. So this carnival and crop over festivities, it is all, you may think that you are having fun, but deep inside, the oppression is still there, and you feel as though you have to have a day where you can let all of it go, all the inhibition go. You're thinking it's inhibition to, or I don't know what you're thinking. It's inhibiting you because you're not really inhibited in other things. So it has to be something that you're not conscious of, but it's there, and you go to the streets. You make sure you get into the streets and you let it all out there. You let it all out there the same way they had you in the barns to breed. You do it on the streets now. It's dry. You're almost dry because you're weighing less and less and less and less as the years, roll by. So everything that happened to you on the plantations is being exhibited. It's inside of you. You are, for the most part, your ancestors, but every iteration of life it's degraded. It becomes watered down. So you're not as good as your ancestors. You can never be as good and as strong as your ancestors. Okay, so what we are seeing here is children are being invited in, and you wonder what is happening in Barbados. What the hell is happening in Barbados? And Barbados needs God, and they need to turn to Jesus. They need to go back to the church and the parents and the teachers. And you're hearing all of this confusion and all of this talk, and you don't realize that you are celebrating slavery, and you are getting on the streets and you are exhibiting things that still happen there in Barbados because there's still slavery. And you may call it a hotel, you may call it, a sovereign nation. You may say that, you're no longer under England, you're a republic. You can say whatever you want. Whatever you want, you can say. But there's a part of you that that you still have to turn to the man for that payday. Okay? Maloney has told you that if he were to pull out, Barbados is done. I'm sure he doesn't look white, but I'm sure he considers himself white. Okay? He considers himself non-black. Okay? And he already told you that if he were to pull out, it's over for Barbadians. It's done. Okay? So you do know that you're still held. Anyone who works at a hotel, you are experiencing slavery. Okay? You are experiencing slavery. And when you go out and you gyrate on the roads and you party on the roads and you walk behind the band and dance up behind the band during the 2 weeks of crop over, you are in opposition to your conditions, but you think because you're laughing and you think because you're having fun, in quotes, fun, that it's not that. You are not looking at the problem straight on, and you'll rather believe the lie than to believe the truth. You'll rather believe that you're out there on your own volition. You'll rather believe that you're out there because you want to be. You're out there because you actually have no choice. You're out there because there's something in you that knows that you're still a slave. Because anyone who's free do not behave like that. No one who is free behaves like that, okay? They may come to your island to have some fun also and take part in it and leave, but they don't really take part in it. They don't really look forward to it every year like you do. It's not like in their blood like it is in your blood. You are doing what happened to you back on the plantations, in the barns. You're doing it now on the street and calling it crop over. It's something, Carnival, crop over, all of those kinds of festivities that are in the streets stem from slavery. It comes out of slavery. And you cannot, like I said earlier, you cannot think that slavery began in the Caribbean and the Latin American areas or whatever. You must know that where those slaves came from, it was happening there too. It had to have been happening there too. So you've been put upon for centuries, and you've invited your children to be a part of it. And then you wonder, what's going on with the young people? You wonder, what's going on with young people? This is Sherry Veronica.